The bench stepped up in a big-time way, and the Kings beat the short-handed Grizzlies tonight at Golden One Center, 133-100. Memphis didn't have John Moran or Steven Adams, but they still have a lot of good players, and the Kings got the job done behind some outstanding defense in that fourth. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. We've had a long day, but we're here. We're alive, and we're feeling good. How you doing, Mo?
Long, great day, dude. Yeah, I'm feeling really good. I didn't know I needed it, but I guess I needed that type of win tonight. And I think I wasn't expecting it because obviously going into this game, thinking Ja Morant and Steven Adams would be playing all the way up until close to the game when they were finally declared inactive. At that moment, I still felt worried and then was feeling good throughout this one until things got close again. So the Kings responding to the Grizzlies getting close and ending this one 133-100 was just spectacular in how they did it.
There's so much to go over in this game, and the way it started was pretty insane. When you see Harrison Barnes start the game 5 of 5 from downtown, Keegan starts the game 3 of 3 from downtown. The Kings end up knocking down 12 of 13 from 3. In the first quarter, Morgan, they dropped 47 points and led 47-33 after one. That was insane shooting that you knew wasn't going to be, I mean, you're not going to shoot 12 of 13 and like that hot, but you knew the Kings were capable of still hitting 20-plus threes. That was some impressive shooting, and they did a great job getting great looks.
It was scary good, right? The way that guys were feeling super in rhythm with their shot when the ball was being swung around. I remember the other day, I just have to mention this, watching a Celtics game, and Al Horford had a look from three, and he had maybe 10 minutes of this open three-point look. A guy that can hit that outside three, he missed it. Stan Van Gundy was talking about how sometimes those are the hardest threes to make. And what you really saw from tonight from the Kings, just to compare, it's like every single time the ball was moving, it allowed guys to get into their shooting rhythm. It just had some beautiful energy, some flow to it to allow guys to get into their motion of where they like to shoot the best.
Yeah, HB had it rolling.
Fox just got fouled in transition. No call. Gives it up to Harrison Barnes. He's on the left wing. Now they reset the half court. Step back three. Harrison Barnes has done it again. 5 for 5 in 6 minutes of playing time. Oh my goodness. 24-19. The Kings back up by 5. Sacramento 8 of 8 from downtown. Well, you know that won't continue.
It did not continue the same rate going into the second quarter at all, right? The Kings end up struggling a bit in that second quarter where they go just 1 of 9 from 3 in that second quarter. The first few minutes of the game, you're like, or the second quarter, you're like, you're serious? You're going to have 4 turnovers in less than 3 minutes. Memphis goes on a 10-0 run, and then they're right back in the game. That second quarter was pretty much a disaster for the Kings. They had 9 turnovers in the second quarter, 13 at the half, and it was like, oh, is this going to be a repeat of the Sixers game?
Felt like
you
it.
had a lead, you're knocking down shots, and now your defense hasn't been good, and you go into halftime with a 5-point lead at 66-61.
It didn't feel great. And then it started feeling worse when they came into the third. But before you get to that, just looking at that second quarter, after starting off so hot, it was frustrating to see the Kings not only lose the lead, but again, how they were losing it, not staying focused, not just staying locked in and wanting to make sure that they were doing everything right against a really good team in the Grizzlies.
On the good front, it seemed like the Kings offense was still able to get some things going, but then they would just be turnovers. You know, Sabonis had a few offensive fouls that were crucial. I thought that you were just talking about the sloppiness. I thought they kind of steadied a little bit once Malik Monk got into the game in that second quarter.
Yeah.
He came in and provided a spark. And it's wild, like last game, the themes we were talking about is they got crushed on the glass, and now the bench has given them nothing. You know, Malik Monk has been a big topic. You're like, can this guy get going again? Can we see the Malik Monk that we saw at the start of the season, who was kind of doing a little bit of everything, setting up teammates, knocking down some shots, getting to the basket? We haven't seen that guy in a minute. That guy showed up tonight, and that really helped the Kings offense, I thought, in a big way. He got the little pick and roll action going with Sabonis, little two-man game, and that was sexy.
Dude, the way that he was channeling his energy is exactly the way that we were talking about the other night, that he can do such a good job when it's under control, when it's controlled chaos even at times. But it didn't seem chaotic at all. It seemed super under control, and I think there was a point where, yes, in that second quarter, Domas Sabonis tipped the ball out after Malik Monk had a baseline miss. So tipped it back out. It went back out to Malik Monk. So Monk's like, okay, I'm going to reward my big fella. He started driving in, and Sabonis was in that dunker spot. All the defense was going to Malik Monk, who was driving in the paint. He dished it off to Sabonis just for an easy jam. And in that moment, it was just great because that whole little section, it wasn't even the entire possession, but right there within that possession, those two completed that play the right way. They really just fed off each other, and that's where I'm like, this is where Malik Monk is at his best.
It was the one way that I felt like the Kings could get Sabonis some easier looks. I felt like early on he was just trying to play bully ball a little bit, and he was getting frustrated. You know, they've got good length out there. Jaren Jackson is just such a pest defensively.
Yeah.
He's long. Even if he's not blocking your shot, he's contesting. He's doing a great job. And, you know, when you're driving inside, you got Tillman down there who's a bigger body. You got Jackson down there. It's hard to get some things going. And they were so aggressive, Memphis was, with the double teams on Sabonis anytime he touched the ball. So what better way to get him going? Get a little pick and roll action. Malik Monk out there with some shooters. Get Sabonis an easy look inside.
Yeah, it was getting Sabonis those easy looks. It was getting the shooters from the outside to relocate and just have a nice little spot-up shot. Everyone was just looking a little bit more locked in whenever things were going well tonight.
In that third quarter, it didn't get much better at the start of it. It was similar to the second quarter again. It just felt sloppy. The Kings weren't knocking down some shots at the end of it. And then all of a sudden, Grizzlies kept chipping away.
Got the lead.
They got the lead. I was wondering what was going through your mind when the Grizzlies took back the lead at 73-71. Bane, this play I wrote down because it kind of bugged me.
Mm-hmm. I
forget who he blew by initially, but Fox could have come over and helped, but he backed off last second. I felt like he just gave him there was no contest. And I think he was trying to avoid the foul. I don't want you to do that in that situation. That's my one play here, because I thought he was great defensively tonight.
Yes.
Even before the fourth quarter, what he did getting into Tyus Jones, playing physical up in that guy. And if you watch Fox's defensive highlights the last couple of games, he's trying to get in the guys a little more, and it's encouraging to see. But that particular play on the help, go out there and foul the guy. Don't let Desmond Bane just coast in for a layup to take the lead.
Sure. And you're talking about, just like you're saying, a particular play. And that's fine to want it to end up like that. But like you said, there was just so many other moments where he was putting that perimeter pressure on and making things so much harder for them. But before we get to that, just the start of the third quarter, when Desmond Bane was getting buckets and getting to his spots and getting those line drives. And when they took the lead, I felt deflated. So if I felt that way, I wasn't sure how they were going to feel. And I was feeling that mostly because of what happened against the Sixers, right? Not just because of 21-point lead, but how they lost the lead and how they never responded to really get it back. I was feeling that same way tonight because I'm like, okay, Grizzlies are a good team. I see how this is going to go.
Well, I thought they had some nice moments toward the end of the third quarter. They were able to get some separation again, and it was, again, when Malik Monk came into the game. I thought Monk did some nice stuff, and then Trey Lyles. Oh, we haven't talked about Trey Lyles tonight.
We have to talk about everyone.
It was wild to look at what he was able to do out there tonight. Let's just go to the fourth quarter. The Kings took a 10-point lead into the fourth quarter because of plays like this.
Fox to Holmes. Rip it down, big fella. Rashawn Holmes on a perfectly placed pass from De'Aaron Fox. Fox just got his 7th assist to the ball game. 7 unanswered for the Kings. And here's Fox with the steal. Fox now into the front court. Left wing feed. Trey Lyles. He's ready for 3. He's got the bucket. And the lead is suddenly up to 14 in the final minute of the third. 10 unanswered points for Sacramento. Timeout taken by the Grizzlies.
Yeah, that made it 100-86 when it was a 4-point game at 90-86. So a nice 10-0 run. They end up taking a 10-point lead into the fourth quarter. And hey, what do you know? It was the defense coming up. And how about that bench? The bench tonight was marvelous. And it's fine. The scoring's fine. Of course, you need buckets. I need rebounds. I need stops. I need movement, deflections. The bench did that tonight. It was Trey Lyles. It was Rashawn Holmes, baby. And then De'Aaron Fox with that group too. And that carried into the fourth quarter, Morgan.
I'm totally with you on that. I thought even Rashawn Holmes in his 14 minutes, he made an impact out there. His presence was felt on both ends of the floor. And it's great to see, right? Something that we all want to see because we're all rooting for Rashawn Holmes to be that backup center. But it's not only that, it's something that we keep discussing time and time again of what this bench can and cannot do. And when they're not productive, it's not pretty for the Kings, which can be surprising at times because you have such a solid starting lineup. We went over the numbers of what JJ Redick was talking about, this starting unit and where they rank in the league on offense and defense when they are on the floor. And it's like top 10, top 5.
It's number 1 in offense and number 4 in defense.
There we go.
As a starting unit, yes.
As a starting unit. So then you look at your bench and it usually doesn't just go downhill with the second unit for the Sacramento Kings. But when things aren't clicking is usually when you can feel it out there. And it's like, really, you can't even add just to your role of being that guy to get some rebounds or to play defense. And tonight, they added and contributed on the offensive end and on the defensive end with the energy, the deflections, and being in the right places at the right time.
Now, let's just talk about what we witnessed in the fourth quarter.
Let's talk about it.
The Kings outscored Memphis.
Oh, yes.
33-10. Yes, 33-10 in the quarter. We got to get to some insane stats about that fact, including the fact that in that quarter, Morgan, Memphis was 2 of 19. They were 0 of 7 from 3. They had 10 turnovers. The Kings in the fourth quarter had 8 steals and 3 blocks. That's absurd.
That's nuts, you guys. I mean, there was the sequence when there was back-to-back Grizzlies turnovers, and it ended up leading to the 2 dunks.
Are you talking about this stretch?
Steal attempt. Oh, and a great job by Trey Lyles. He poked it away. He goes to the full transition hammer. He wound up and windmilled that one home for 21 points and an 11-point Kings lead, 107-96. Here's another deflection. Lyles pokes it away. Grabbed by the Kings. Lead it to Monk. He goes for the 2-hand rip. 109-96, 9:12 to go. Grizzlies take their next to last timeout. Defense leading to offense.
Amazing. That was an amazing stretch. And it was so fun to see Trey Lyles make those plays. Be honest, though. On that first play when he went up for the dunk, were you a little worried?
Yeah, I saw your tweet about that, and I was like, yes, I'm so glad someone else noticed that.
Oh my, when he took off, I'm going, oh, no, he's going to be short on this.
Yeah.
Like, he took off from far.
A little too far, in my opinion, still.
It wasn't too far.
No.
Don't sleep on Trey Lyles. And how about this stat from Jason Ross tonight? Over the final 9:45 of the game, the Kings held Memphis to just 4 points on 4 made free throws. They forced 8 turnovers, and Memphis missed their last 15 shots. The closing run was 30-4. You know, it's like, yeah, Memphis missed some gimmies in there too, but Sacramento's activity, it's amazing to watch when a team gets into like a complete rhythm. And you don't see it a lot from the Kings, especially defensively.
Yeah.
You see these like moments, oh, that was good defensive possession. That was clearly like their best stretch of defense in a game all year, where they were just flying everywhere. The communication was perfect. Rashawn Holmes is playing the pick and roll perfectly. Hands are up. Deflections are happening. Guys are getting after rebounds.
Rotations, baby.
It was perfection. Is it going to happen every night? No, but that type of effort is what the Kings need to have. And I love that they responded like that after what happened last game. You took on a shorthanded Sixers team without their big fella in Embiid, without Harden, got destroyed on the glass, right? Like, it was Paul Reed and Montrezl Harrell, and oh, by the way, no one on the Sixers had double-digit rebounds. It was all guys with 6 or more, and tonight the Kings were like, oh, yeah, we got a gang rebound. Mike Brown called us out at practice. Like, we got to show up tonight, and they did.
53-31. They out-rebounded the Grizzlies 53-31. And I know so many people are like, but no Steven Adams. It doesn't matter, you guys. Like, if you look at their roster, like, the rest of their squad can step up. Look what they did last year. It was last year or the beginning of this year without Ja Morant. It was last year, right?
Yeah, last year they missed some large stretches. They won games, yeah.
But my point is, when Ja Morant was out and they were still winning games, like, they have a culture in place. They have a foundation in place. And so it was nice to see that the Kings were still going to dominate, especially on that defensive end, especially because their backup point guard, like we said, Tyus Jones, probably one of the best backup point guards in this league. So to
He's
step
the best
up,
backup point guard.
Yeah, to step up in that starting lineup, it just meant, okay, like, the next man up for mentality for them. Another thing too, Will Z had tweeted out earlier tonight before the game. He said Jaren Jackson Jr. is the best interior defender in the NBA in his opinion, holding opponents to 54.1% in the restricted area, which is ranked first out of the 428 players. And I just thought that was fantastic because you see his dominance in there in what chaos he creates in there. But the Kings on the offensive end were still scoring also in the paint.
The other stat that Will Z had that was pretty absurd because
he's so
I was
good.
looking at the Kings turnovers at one point. I look and I'm like, they're up 30 and they have 25 turnovers. In this game, they finished with 25 turnovers and won by 33 points. That's pretty damn weird, but it just shows you how elite the shooting was tonight. The ball was still moving around. The Kings are the first team to win by 30-plus points with at least 24 turnovers since the Seattle Supersonics did in February of 2000. Yeah, the Supersonics, rest in peace. They're not here. That happened in 2000, 23 years ago.
How did he even? What are you, Will Z?
Dude.
You freaking robot.
But that it was just one of those weird ass games. But I loved what I saw from the Kings tonight. It was a great bounce back game on the home floor. You're back to 8 games above 500 at 27-19, and the season series between the two teams, Memphis and Sacramento, tied at 2-2. So that's encouraging too. 20 points for Harrison Barnes on 6 of 10 shooting, 6 of 9 from 3.
Are we giving him enough love really quick?
You know what? Before we get there,
Okay.
let's go to Mike Brown. Let's hear some Mike Brown because here's what he had to say about the bench.
I thought Trey, Malik, and Rashawn were huge off the bench for us tonight. And not just with their scoring. I thought defensively they were really, really big, but more importantly than their defense was their ability to rebound. Their ability to rebound and let us get out and run. You know, that contributed to the 30 fast break points that we had. But I jumped our team pretty good this morning about our inability to rebound against Philly. And Malik got an earful from me as well as a couple others. And I must say, you know, he stepped up and showed out with the 9 rebounds tonight.